Hey, what's up, y'all? If it's your first time here, welcome, and if not, welcome back to another episode of Learning Lessons with Shaboobs. Today, we're going to continue on what we were talking about last time, and that is creating merch, doing it yourself. However, this time, we're going to talk about the more traditional route rather than the digital route. All right, so it is a bit much, so here we go today. Creating merch, do it yourself. All right, so here's the disclaimer. I am not a designer. I started out in performing arts, then switched on over to video production and post-production, and now I create content for other people to post. So I'm a content creator. I have had a lot of years experience though in this. I've been creating shirts since at least 2008, and it's been a long journey, and in that journey I've learned a lot of things. And one thing that I've also learned about me not being a designer is that not all printers are designers and not all designers are printers. So here's what I mean by that. When you're not a designer, the first thing you're gonna do is want to contract out. You need to find someone to design the design for you, and then you need someone to print it. Now, again, they are not one and the same. You have plenty of people who go to school for design and marketing who know how to design and know how to use all the applications, but they're not printers. They don't have any of the equipment. They may not know anybody depending on their experience and where they're at in their career. So you gotta understand that a designer is separate from a printer and is a separate cost. Now, when I first started doing this, I didn't have necessarily the money to go pay for someone to be a designer and a printer, or a designer as well as a printer. I went and found one person who can do both. And I found a printer who knew how to design, and that's when I really understood the lesson that not all printers are designers. There are people who get the job done and they have plenty of clients and plenty of work because they have enough simplified work that they can do, that they know enough that they can do. So when I sat there with this printer helping him design my designs, I noticed it was a little bit difficult to get my idea across as well as I wanted. That's why I actually had to go sit with him to actually find the image that he wanted, to find the right text and font, and then combine it all together. So understand that you need to find somebody who is a designer and somebody who is a printer. And just because you find a printer who can design, it does not mean that they are a designer. So understand that, understand what you're paying for, maybe take a look at people's work. You have to do your own research and take a look at different examples to see what it is you want to go with, because it is your money. So yeah, if you look here on the screen, these are the first designs that I did back in like 2008. There's a lot of shirts here. It was Art Save Me. It was my Saves Me line. Art, dance, hip hop, music save me. And so I really had to sit there and edit this with him. But again, when you're not a designer, you go through this process of learning. You go find the person who's going to do this, and then you have them work on it, and there it is. So let's say you want to start getting into design. Well then, if you want to design it yourself, there are plenty of options to do that. I myself use Illustrator and Canva. I do a lot of text-based designs, so most of mine is simple, like the hoodie I'm wearing right now, Faith Over Fear, that's all just text-based. So most of what I have to do is really just search for fonts and then see the placement of it. But there are plenty of free sites you can use. There's Canva, Snappa, Crello, Infogram. There's a lot of different options if you want to get into designing yourself. You could even use something like Fiverr and hire somebody to do it yourself, you know? All right, so here's the thing. This is a rabbit hole, and we're only at the start of it. Most of what you're going to learn in your research really is going to come from experience. You have to experience it in order to research it, because I can sit here and tell you all day about this hoodie versus another hoodie, but the visuals don't make up for how it feels. You need to feel the product itself. You need to know what kind of material it is, what kind of print it is. And that's the hardest part, because you're saying like, well, how do I find out? How do I do this without spending money? Well, that's the thing. You're going to have to spend money in order to do this. It's just kind of like the cost of entry to doing it. The only real way to understand it is through experience. There are way too many variations, from the types of the products to the materials used to the types of prints and transfers. there's just too many layers to go over in one video. So understand that your experience is your research. All right, now the first question I've been told from a screen printer that they ask the client is, what type of material? Do you want 100% cotton? Do you want a 50-50 or some kind of variation of? Again, these are the things that you have to figure out on your own. You have to go to the stores, you have to go to the local print shops, you have to go to vendors, look at the items, see which things you want, and then feel it out. And from there you can look from even like say what the different percentages of the material. If it's 57% this versus this, you got to understand that you have to feel it out. And with the right printer or vendor and the right amount of money, you can literally print on anything. You can purchase brand name apparel and put your logo or your saying on it. Like, it really is sky's the limit if you have the right money and if you look in the right places. All right, now the next question is, what type of heat transfer? Now, you can get a heat transfer that's up to 3 colors, or you can get the full colors or different variations. The one I have right now is just a simple 1 color heat transfer. The heat transfer is you can pick up to 3 colors, and then the full color, and then there's variations. So let me show you here with one of the sites that I use. This is transferexpress.com. Now, if you look over here to what I have here on the sites. So if you look at over here, we have a lot of the different options. These are the 1 to 3 colors, and if you look here, the one that I use is this goof-proof screen printed. That's the easiest and most simple one, and then you have all these other variations. And this is why it's like you have to spend your time researching all this, because there's so many things you can do here. Now, this is all just the 1 colors really, mainly, and then here are all the full colors, and even here you have different types. You have soft, you have stretch, you got stretch with blockers. So again, you have to kind of know what you want. Ask questions, research, look up your favorite brands or favorite clothing styles, and just check around to see what type that it is. All right, so now here's a little bit of difference between a heat press and a screen printing. Now, for those that are listening and not able to watch it, one is a mechanical machine swirling around a bunch of t-shirts, and it is pushing color over a print onto it, and then it swips it around, and if there's more colors, it'll add more, and so on and do that. The beauty of this system is that it's automated, so you can do multiple shirts at one time. The other video is me with a heat press, where I'm actually pressing one of these hoodies, and I have to put it one at a time. I put the shirt on, I put the transfer on top, I have to layer it or center it properly, and then press it down, and then let the press hold for about 13, 14 seconds, pull up, check it, push down one more time for a little extra, pull up, and then slowly peel it off. Like, you see that each one has its own process. The screen prints will get you more done quicker, and you might get more color out of it and a little more detail. And then with the heat press, you kind of get the flexibility of putting it anywhere. For instance, the hoodie I have has a print right on the forearm, and I wouldn't have been able to do that so easily on the screen print as well as on the heat press. So understand there are differences and there are advantages to either one. And again, this is all bits and pieces of information you're going to learn as you experience this. Okay, so the pros and cons of this versus doing digital. Well, the pros are that you have quality control. You can't really tell in this video with this hoodie versus what I wore in the last one, but the quality is there. You can see it when it's physical, you can feel it. There is just more quality control. You retain full profit because you are the seller and the money's coming back to you, and then you have full creative control. So you could really get whatever color hoodies you want. You want to buy these ones, you want to buy this brand, you can do that. You can bring it in, you could throw it down, throw it on the inside of the hoodie, the back of the hoodie, however you want, and you have creative control, quality control, and full profit. Now, the cons of this is that it's a huge financial investment. It's going to take a lot of money, it's going to take a lot of time, it's time consuming, and those two alone give you a lot of risk. So understand that this isn't really as passive as doing it digitally. If anything, this is very active, and this is for people who are very serious about trying to design clothes and want to get into apparel. Okay, so I know that this was a quick crash course, but I really want this video to be the doorway for you to dive deeper into either researching more or actually doing it yourself. You got to understand that to really fully understand all this, this is going to be learned through experience. There's no other way around it. You have to spend the time, the money, the energy, and the effort to do it. And there's no guarantee that it ever takes off. Now, if you're a creator that has gained some success in one field and you have fans or followers or started a brand through that, then it's a little bit easier because you'll have a little bit more demand. Again, if not though, this is not passive, this is active. You got to understand that difference first, that this is not the easy route. It can be simple, but it's not necessarily the easy route. So I just want you to really take this information, and if you're really interested, if it's really in you, if it's your passion or your purpose, then it'll be worth it. All right, guys, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. Stay tuned next time. Peace.